Alexandra Ela has quickly emerged as one of the most promising young talents in tennis, capturing the hearts of Filipino fans and making history with each match she plays. But as her star rises, she now finds herself at the center of an uncomfortable controversy, one that threatens to overshadow her breakthrough year. While the world watched Ela take on rising stars and legends alike, it was her recent encounter with Swiss veteran Viktorija Golubic that sparked heated debates. Golubic, already known for her questionable on-court behavior, has once again found herself under investigation by the WTA. The allegations? Deliberate gamesmanship against the 20-year-old Filipino star aimed at disrupting her momentum during a critical match. For Ela, a young player representing an entire nation's tennis renaissance, this incident couldn't have come at a worse time. And for the WTA, this marks the third time in just over a year that Golubic has raised concerns about her conduct. But what makes this case so significant? Let's dive into the details. Ela's rise to prominence wasn't an overnight success. As a young, aspiring athlete, she faced all the challenges that come with being a newcomer in a highly competitive sport. Her breakthrough came in 2022, when she made history as the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles title at the US Open. It was a victory that not only marked her potential, but also positioned her as a beacon for Philippine tennis. While she was on the fast track to success, Ela's journey wasn't without its setbacks. The transition from juniors to professional tennis is a grueling one, and in the midst of her rise, she found herself up against players with years of experience and tough reputations. One such veteran was Viktorija Golubic, a Swiss player known for her solid game, but whose on-court conduct had raised eyebrows in the past. This match, however, wasn't just about tennis. It would go down in history for the controversy that followed. At the 2025 Suzhou WTA 125, Ela was riding high after impressive victories over Greet Minnen and Katarzyna Kawa. The quarterfinal showdown with Golubic was set to be a career-defining moment for Ela. She started strong, winning the first set, but as the match progressed, things began to unravel. The turning point came when Ela was serving at deuce in the second set, with momentum in her favor. It was then that Golubic appeared to deliberately delay play, calling for a medical timeout just as Ela was preparing to serve. This interruption lasted nearly 6 minutes, far beyond the typical 90-second window for legitimate medical assessments or challenges. It wasn't just the extended break, it was the timing. Ela had won 3 consecutive games and was on the brink of completely turning the match around. Social media was abuzz almost immediately. Fans and analysts questioned Golubic's intentions, with many labeling it as an act of gamesmanship, a deliberate attempt to disrupt Eala's rhythm. This wasn't the first time Golubic had been accused of such behavior. In fact, this incident marked the third time in 18 months that her conduct had come under scrutiny. The WTA's response was swift. Within 24 hours, they launched a formal investigation into the matter, citing video footage and testimony from the chair umpire and other officials. The WTA's decision to expedite the investigation was telling. It signaled the gravity of the situation and the growing concern over Golubic's actions. Could a veteran player like her be exploiting the system in ways that weren't just unsportsmanlike, but detrimental to the integrity of the sport? Viktorija Golubic isn't a stranger to controversy. This marks the third time in less than 2 years that her behavior on court has been questioned. Back in 2023, during the Budapest Grand Prix, she was warned for repeatedly challenging line calls that video review had already confirmed, disrupting her opponent's rhythm. Then, in 2024, in Monterrey, her use of medical timeouts during crucial moments raised eyebrows again. These incidents didn't result in major sanctions, but they did raise important questions about her conduct. What makes the Ela incident so significant, though, is the context. The WTA has spent years pushing for growth and recognition in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, and Ela is now seen as the face of that effort. As the Philippines' first tennis star to break through to the global stage, she represents the future of the sport in the region. If Golubic's behavior were to go unpunished, it would send a message to rising talents from underrepresented countries that their growth could be stunted by seasoned players willing to bend the rules. For the WTA, this is a delicate situation. They face the challenge of maintaining the integrity of the sport while balancing the need to protect emerging stars like Ela from predatory conduct by more experienced players. For Ela, the match against Golubic wasn't just a loss. It was a psychological blow. After the lengthy interruption, her first serve percentage dropped dramatically from 71% to 53%, and her unforced errors nearly doubled in the final games of the second set. Sports psychologists who analyzed the match noted visible changes in Eala's body language and court positioning, classic indicators that the momentum had been disrupted. This loss, though costly in terms of ranking points and prize money, represented more than just a missed opportunity. For a 19-year-old still finding her footing among the top 200 players in the world, the psychological toll of such an experience can be profound. Will she be able to bounce back from the controversy? Will her confidence remain intact? Social media erupted in support of Eala, with Filipino fans amplifying the incident across platforms, bringing it to the attention of global tennis followers. Over 2.3 million people viewed the controversial video within the first 12 hours, and Filipino tennis accounts led the charge, framing it as an example of a veteran exploiting a young, rising star. For Eala, this was a reminder that every step of her journey is under intense scrutiny. Golubic's career is at a crossroads. Ranked in the 100s and 30s, her options for remaining competitive on the tour are dwindling. With each year, the financial pressures increase, and every tournament, every match becomes more crucial. Gamesmanship, while controversial, can sometimes make the difference between survival and decline. A fine or suspension could cost her thousands of dollars in lost earnings and sponsorships, putting her career in jeopardy. But beyond the financial implications for Golubic, this incident has wide-reaching consequences for the WTA's future in Asia. The tour has invested heavily in the region, with tournaments, infrastructure, and player development all key priorities. As Eala continues to rise, she symbolizes the hope for tennis in Southeast Asia. If players like Golubic are allowed to bend the rules without repercussions, it could damage the WTA's credibility in these emerging markets. The Viktorija Golubic incident is more than just a controversial moment in a single match. It's a test case for the WTA. Can the tour enforce its conduct rules consistently, regardless of a player's ranking or nationality? Can they protect young, rising stars like Alexandra Ela from the predatory tactics of veteran players? For the Philippines, this is a monumental moment. Alex has made history as the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player, male or female. She now carries the hopes of an entire nation, and she's rising to the occasion with the poise of a champion. Right now, in Manila, there are young kids picking up tennis rackets for the first time because they saw what Alex accomplished. That's the true power of representation. Seeing someone who shares your background and reaches the highest level. But this also sparks a larger discussion about sportsmanship in tennis. While what Golubic did may have been within the rules, was it the right thing to do? Where do we draw the line between fierce competition and unsportsmanlike behavior? These are age-old questions tennis has grappled with, and this match brought them to the forefront once again. Some argue that tennis needs stricter regulations around time violations and medical timeouts. Maybe shot clocks should be enforced more rigorously. Perhaps medical timeouts should be allowed only during specific points in a match. These changes could level the playing field, but implementing them isn't without its challenges. Others believe the current system is sufficient, that players need to adapt to these tactics because they're part of the sport. There's truth to that too. To be a champion, you must be able to thrive in any situation, against any style, regardless of the strategies your opponent employs.